Park Chambers, Cardiff, lying to the court, and he actually switches the exhibits, the wanted signs, for this rogue lawyer.
If it's that clear to you, why isn't it clear to other people that he's doing that?
Yes, but we've got it on tape. We're not allowed to use it in court, and so I've sent it to their lordships saying, I produced it. I've got proof that they falsified, like they do regularly with my criminal
It's an issue in Jersey because there are people here who are saying that transcripts, when they're produced, they're typed out, they're not accurate transcripts.
That's right.
So some people have been making recordings in court.
And they don't relate to. I had a tape recording of one of the Crown Court cases, and all the critical parts, like, for example, I had to produce my legal papers from my rectum during the trial. Can you imagine that?
I'd rather not, but it's an interesting
They
process.
bundled me down the stairs. I said to the judge, Judge Curran QC, QC is a nickname, we use different expressions for QC, and over the years with my experiences in Guernsey, and which is where I cut my teeth on all this. And he wouldn't even let me go down the steps to get my legal papers. So I said, right, I've got my legal papers up 3 inches up per rectum. And I proceeded to remove them. Now, the prisoner officers saw what I had, which were critical exhibits to show that they had fraudulently produced documents to fabricate. I'd been given a restraining order in the cells with video cameras and everything. And when I was outside, downstairs, the judge told the jury, they said, well, we want to see the videos. Oh, there is no video. Well, of course there was video. They only put me in the cell that has the only video machine. And the corridor has more, and the only other witness says I was given it in the corridor coming down on my crutches. You're not allowed crutches in the cells.
The difficulty, I mean, obviously for the general public won't follow what you're doing because it's far too complicated.
It's all on my website in detail.
Indeed it is. But
and all the court exhibits, and also the unlawful tapes, unless they were given permission by the judge. Well, I wasn't in that magistrate's case, so we've now got the law courts in London to confirm that if you can get a judge or a magistrate to let you tape record, we can now tape record. Now that is progress, because when they won't let you, everybody knows in the room there's going to be
Is that an acknowledged judgment? Has that been made? Is that are people using that? Is that a judgment which has been made that people can now record?
Well, I used it in advance because I've used it.
Right.
So, I mean, I knew how they were going to come out with it. So the day before, I sent the magistrate's tape recordings. No, I just sent one sample. We're holding back the juicy bits for websites. It's far more fun to play them on the website because the courts know we've got
obviously
them.
What worries the general public when they see this, it's all very well fighting these causes, but in the courts they cost money.
Yeah, hang on, fighting these causes. I've just spent 2 years in prison.
Indeed.
An innocent person, only because a rogue doctor, who's been on the sick for more than 6 months now, with his wife, another psychiatrist, blaming me for pulling the money from the taxpayer and his private insurance for 6 months because I'm harassing him. He wrote a statement last summer saying that I was at his home, harassing him, and that the police had to move me on. Do you really think the South Wales police, if I was within a 5-mile radius of his house, they would jail me? Total pack of lies. Like he said, I have a brain tumour.
But what I was trying to get at is that the cost of going to court, you'll go to court with about 5 or 6
they
cases.
Don't care.
But it's going to cost you money. How can you afford it?
I've cost me £300,000.
Right.
But they don't. The system doesn't care in Wales. Nobody investigates the cost of the lawyers. When I was in the prison last summer, I was doing prisoners' cases to stop myself going balmy, and I had 16 cases in my cell. And nearly all of them, they were there for minor things, and the lawyer, the solicitor in the high street, gets a cheque for £5,000. I saw the letters from the authorities, and they go to court once. They might go to court 3 times, but they've got £5,000 of taxpayers' money up front. Why on earth do you think those boys then become the judges? The judges, when I was a kid, used to say, this case is coming to an end, this is getting too expensive. There is serious doubt in the way you've acquired that prosecution information. I'm not going to let this go to the jury. Curran should have done that with me. The machine gun case with Peter Thomas QC, he knew. I knew it had been repainted, but I wasn't going to say that in the trial because I wanted to prove fraud with the people who are ultimately
where
responsible.
You are now, you're going back to South Wales now, and you'll be appearing in court.
No, they might pull me at Portsmouth tomorrow.
You think they will?
Well, they pulled me and failed. They're licking their wounds. They jail me on a regular basis, and they keep
the point
losing.
I'm trying to get to, and you're not letting me. You do have a lawyer to represent you at the moment.
No.
He's not.
No.
I thought he was back re-engaged.
Well, he may be a plant.
Right.
He suddenly sent me 18 emails yesterday. He disappeared off the map for 6 weeks.
Right.
And even lawyers said, and experts said, we can't find him.
If they don't arrest you when you turn up in England tomorrow and you're allowed on your way to Cardiff, when would these cases start to appear in court again?
Well, my divorce court starts at the end of the week. The South Wales Police Consolidation, Machine Gun and Rogue Solicitor, and the 3-month trial we're applying for, well, I'm applying for it to be taken out of Wales. I'll never get justice in any civil or criminal case in South Wales. The local Welsh boys tell me that. That's why when I was stopped from having a jury, I tried to settle out of court with them. The judge said to the police, give him his money. Nicholas Chambers QC said that.
You had one remarkable piece of film on one of your blogs some time ago where you were stopped at some traffic lights and the gang pulled out of your car by a bunch of police officers and beaten up. Nothing ever happened.
The High Court has ruled that because I was then found guilty 10 minutes later for failing to give a breath test, that incident cannot be in these damages claim.
But
do you understand the significance of that?
But has that incident itself never been subject of an inquiry?
It is. Of course it has.
Yes.
You just said it. And now it's going to be heard with witnesses, but they will not let me produce the film because they said I refused to give a breath test. You never refuse a breath test because it's an absolute offence. But they make it up to get a conviction.
We're coming up to our maximum time on here, but there was a case you were involved with, a lady with some children in London.
Oh, the Muses.
What happened?
The Nigerian, this is a scandalous follow-on from Baby P, the Haringey Council. They snatched 6 of their kids. They were involved with getting a kid to go to sleep, and I think they were using a drug which was quite unlawful. But the way in which they might have done it, and if it happened, was used as an example, and they've had 7 years imprisonment each, and the way that the case went was outrageous. The lawyers should have let the authorities send them back to Nigeria. A typical example of the legal trade in our country.
So what has happened to them?
Well, they're locked away in 2 London prisons for 7 years. They'll do 3.5 years. They might come out at 2.5 and do bail. They might get an appeal. But the whole that case was a scandal. I was bundled out and jailed for tape recording when I didn't even have a microphone, a hand phone, and I was acting as a Mackenzie friend for them in the civil case. The Metropolitan Police, each time I got jailed, they tried to do the Mental Health Act in Tottenham Police Station, and I got jailed, and the magistrate said, well, this man appears to be perfectly sane, and all to do with the Muses, trying to get them a fair trial. Oh, that's a good example of the family courts, a money-making industry for the legal trade, and the general public don't realise what it's costing us.
We're going to have to stop here, but there's one simple little question. I got my bag packed for the Everest trip. Shall I need it soon?
What do you mean? I'm trying to fly my Cub. My Cub's nearly ready to fly to Cape Town, and my little message with Sir Edmund Hillary, he winked, and when I said, shall I go and say hello to the mountain? So I'm hoping to get halfway up. So she won't climb any higher than 12,000.
You will try and fly around it, though, won't you?
Oh, I'll fly around it.
Good.
With or without a permit.
Okay.
To enter Tibet. Nepal.
First of all, you've got to get through Portsmouth, so we'll see you get on there.
Yeah.
Good luck. We shall see you again. Cheers.
Devil looks after his own.
Okay, so.